Hello and welcome back to Inside Quotes, the show where my brother and I rewatch, review, and relive the staples of our childhood. This is episode 113, and I'm your host Jeremy, and with me today on the other screen is my older brother Jonathan. Jonathan, welcome back to the show on video.
Quack, quack. Quack, quack, everybody. We're back on Inside Quotes. It's a video podcast now. We've made the switch. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, turn it off. Go to YouTube. That's where we live now.
I can't be that person.
I know.
I respect the video listeners, but I am always a listener myself and not a video viewer for podcasts. I don't watch a podcast, but I'm glad there's some people in the world that like watching us. So, but yeah.
I am a podcast purist. I like the audio format. That's how I consume most of my podcasts. Every now and then I like tune in and I'm like, oh, let me see what this is like. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and watch this thing. But some people like that.
Sometimes it's nice for like some types of shows that show clips or TikToks or something.
Yeah.
But we do have clips to show and images to show.
Who knows? It's all new to us. We're experimenting. It's a new era for Inside Quotes. But Jeremy, what movie are we covering today?
Well, Jonathan, it is October, and we are covering a nice, cozy, yet scary movie by Aardman Studios, Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
What your little eyebrow movement, Sarah, was that supposed to be Gromit's like one eyebrow that he uses to emote?
Yeah. Only, like, that's his whole, like, face shape, like his skull moves too.
His whole forehead.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so Wallace and Gromit is like something that not a lot of people are familiar with, yet the people that you do meet absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Most people know it by Shaun the Sheep, and that's like a spin-off, I guess.
Yeah.
But I guess we can go into like the history of like where this movie came from.
Okay.
But you're more of an expert on that, obviously.
Obviously.
No.
So so this is an Aardman Studios film. They're an animation company that specialized in like stop motion animation. And so if you've seen Wallace and Gromit, some of the other stuff that they've made is like Chicken Run, Flushed Away,
Pirates.
Well, here
something.
I got the whole stack right here because it's a video podcast. I could show you.
What?
I got all the DVDs right here. We got.
It's a little bright.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Here we go. Wallace and Gromit. We got Chicken Run. We've got Flushed Away. I said all these.
Yeah.
Ooh, the Pirates.
You didn't say Pirates.
Band of Misfits. Okay.
Band of Misfits. Okay, that's what it's called.
Arthur Christmas, which is one I saw recently. In the last couple of years, and I was like, that was pretty good.
That one doesn't even seem like claymation.
This one's CGI. It's not claymation. I mean, neither is Flushed Away,
but it looks like it.
Early Man. I have not seen this one yet, so stay tuned for my review.
Okay.
But I got
check out that Patreon if you want us to do a review of that. That's a good back burner for this episode.
Yeah.
I also thought about doing a bonus episode for our Patreon for like the other shorts for Wallace and Gromit. That'd be a better one to do.
I didn't rewatch those.
I didn't either
before today's episode. I just wanted to watch the movie and keep that fresh. But in the 90s. Actually, so Aardman has like a whole like biography of like their whole film studio, and I have the audiobook and I've been listening to it. Haven't finished it, but anyways, it's been pretty good. And they were kind of like they did a lot of commercial work, advertising. They had like this character called Morph that was in like a kids TV show.
Morph.
Kind of like a Gumby looking thing, but British.
Okay.
But when they hired like a young animator who was like in school, just out of school, named Nick Park. And he was working on, as his like student film project, the first Wallace and Gromit like short. And he had been working on it for years. And like in order to like graduate, I think he had to like finish his short, and he was like stuck there until he finished this thing. Like
Oh
just
man.
tediously doing this like stop motion animation. I think that was the first one, where they go to the moon to get
Yeah,
some
a grand
cheese.
day out.
Yes.
That's a solid one. Chase
Anyway,
Gromit.
um, yeah, the company that the guys,
Chase Gromit.
what's the guy's name? Oh, look at this, Jeremy. Okay, for your
Jonathan, do you see
audio
my
listeners,
sign?
Jeremy's pointing to a sign in the background.
We're a little insufferable today. We're just feeling ourselves.
I'm just crackers about cheese.
I don't know.
Yeah, so there was this young animator. The people that founded Aardman, Lord and Sproxton. I can't.
Mhm.
Peter Lord, David Sproxton, I think are the names. They like recognized his talent and Nick Park's talent, and they're like, "Hey, come work for us, and in the meantime, we'll like let you work on your short,
Yeah.
in your spare time and whatnot, free time that we have around here." So, anyway, long story short, they did all their commercial work. He finished his shorts, and like he made several of them throughout the years, and like they won
Yeah.
Oscars. Like there was like 3 classic Wallace and Gromit short films, and like I think 2 of the 3 like won like the best animated short or whatever category at the Oscars.
Interesting.
So that's
Now,
what got the attention of Jeffrey Katzenberg
what
over at
were these 3?
DreamWorks, and that's kind of what got the ball rolling for like Chicken Run and getting into like feature
Yeah.
films.
I don't. How long? I guess they had more of a budget and more people working on these claymation shots, but like, how in the world do they just have like 70 different studios with different all the scenes, and then like so many different people? Oh man, I have so much respect for claymation, stop motion.
Yeah, and this is the second one in a row that we didn't really initially plan that, but
Yeah,
that's that here we are. And Jeremy, do you
Here
want to
we are,
say why
Muff.
we decided to cover Wallace and Gromit?
Dude,
this
okay,
week?
so breaking news. It's Halloween month. It's the spoopy season, and we've just been doing fall/scary-ish cozy movies before the real scary stuff next week. But we originally were going to do another movie that Jonathan loves, one of Jonathan's staples. But out of nowhere, I feel like I didn't hear about this at all, but out of nowhere the other day, you sent me the trailer for the new 2025, 2024 Wallace and
January.
Gromit.
Yeah.
In January, they're coming out with another one.
Wallace and Gromit movie.
Which is the second full-length feature Wallace and Gromit film. And that one is called, already forgot.
Vengence, Most Fowl.
Vengence,
something like that.
Most Fowl.
The trailer was good.
It looks so good.
Really excited.
I'm more excited about this trailer than like a lot of the Marvel movie trailers that have been coming out lately. Like I was hype about the new Captain America movie with Harrison Ford. But man, this one, oh my goodness. It just we've had this on a short list of like Halloween movies to cover in October.
Yeah.
Already, but this one was like we had to change it last minute. So maybe next year, or maybe eventually we'll do I won't even say the movie we're gonna do. Just save it for next year.
Yeah, we'll do it eventually.
Yeah, this one's better anyways.
This is going to be out on Netflix in January, so we're like, what better way to celebrate that than let's go watch the first movie?
Yeah,
and
it was a perfect time, Jeremy, too, because it's October.
Yeah, it really is. I love the whole vibe of this movie. Kind of scary. It's kind of a parody of like horror films, like classic monster movies. But I mean, totally for kids, totally fun. I'll be honest, I don't remember much about this movie.
I don't either.
Okay.
The only thing that sticks into my mind about my memories with this particular movie
Hmm.
is, yes, I have seen it before, and yes,
Yes. Hmm.
Wallace and Gromit's characters as a whole, staples of my childhood. Definitely a Grand
Absolutely.
Day Out I've seen a lot of times.
Hmm.
But the marketing for this one was everywhere. Like, I've probably seen the movie trailers for this a lot.
Hmm.
And I feel like, did Burger King have something? Burger King always had like different promos going on.
Maybe.
Like the
I'm pretty
best
sure
like
they had
kids
like a
meal.
video game. So
They
they
did
they
have a
probably had
video game for
something.
PS2. That's a good rule of thumb. If the movie had a
Yeah.
sick video game on if the movie had any video game on PS2, it was probably really good.
Yeah. It probably had a tie-in at Burger King.
You can take that statement and take it straight to the bank.
Should we do a deep dive into
Oh
PS2
boy,
games?
I'm scared now. All I know is that Over the Hedge slapped.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember seeing this movie, but like I've seen it once or twice, and I didn't really remember much about it. Like you were saying, like when I think of Wallace and Gromit, it kind of went back to those like short films that
Yeah.
we saw a lot because we had them in the FCA library growing up,
Yeah, that's so true.
and so that's kind of what I remember most. There's a couple lines, a couple scenes in this movie that I remember, but for the most part, like spoiler alert, I did not remember that Wallace was the were-rabbit.
Dude, I didn't
At
either.
all. That was like a
I did
twist for
not.
me.
It really got me with the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah. Um, Jeremy,
I
this movie
completely
was a
forgot.
delight for me to watch
It really
today.
was.
I enjoyed this movie so much.
I'll watch it again tomorrow. Come on over. Okay.
I feel like it just checks a lot of boxes for me. Like it's got the great British humor. It's got like the amazing art detail of like the stop motion.
Yeah.
It's got like that small town vibe with quirky characters all like ready to put on like I was gonna say put on a show, but like put on like a festival.
Yeah.
There's just like so many elements of
It
this
had a
that I
sense of
just
community in there too. Like,
yeah.
obviously because it was a community, but like, I don't know. Everybody was intertwined and positively intertwined with people. Um
And it's
I
like a
think Paddington
Halloweenish
took
movie.
notes.
Say that again.
I think with those notes that you said, I think
Mhm.
Paddington took those notes and
Oh yeah, this
incorporated
is
that into their movie. Thus, possibly potentially the best cinematic trilogy of all time. We just got to get the third one.
yeah, we'll see. Paddington in Peru.
Yeah.
I think that's coming out around the same time as Wallace and Gromit. I think it's just after
They're
the
a
new
step
year.
ahead of us, Jonathan. They
Yeah.
really are.
Now, okay, I did forget. They did make a Chicken Run 2 for Netflix. I did not see it. I need to watch that one. But it doesn't look like it's stop motion.
That's the thing. It just doesn't.
And that's why I'm like I don't know if I'm going to like it as much.
I feel like they're sticking with it though. Like the trailer looked really good for Wallace and Gromit. I think they have to stick with
Yeah,
the stop
no.
motion here.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is the best version of Wallace and Gromit, like visually, because in A Grand Day Out, I guess the first one, he looks so clunky and gross. Like,
Oh yeah. That's like
but
a
this looks
student film.
smooth. Well,
At least
yeah,
the first like half of it is, and then the
this
rest
whole
of it he
concept.
was
Bless me. Thank you.
Thank you.
This whole concept of Aardman Studios was originated from an unpaid intern, basically, or paid. I don't know.
I think he was paid. But yeah.
So basically, the intro of this movie, the premise of this particular movie, is, if you're not familiar with Wallace and Gromit, it is Wallace and Gromit. And Wallace is a single man who's sort of like an innovator, inventor, makes his own clunky contraptions. If you've seen
Yes.
Jury Duty, it's like the guy, is his name Eric? The guy that did the seat pants and coming up with all his inventions?
Oh yeah.
What was his name? Dang it.
I don't remember his name, but the chair pants, yeah.
Jury Duty.
Okay.
Chair pants guy. Todd? Yeah, Todd's chair pants. Wallace is basically a bald version of Todd in British from Jury Duty. And honestly, people are probably more familiar with Wallace than Todd. So never mind.
Okay, that was another thing I meant to bring up with like checking a lot of boxes for me. It's just all these like man-made contraptions and inventions that are
Mhm.
supposed to like. I always find that like really amusing. You know,
Yeah,
like
like
basically
in
like
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. The beginning of like some of the Ernest movies, like when they show his house, he's got all this like weird
Yeah.
stuff in there. Yeah, definitely. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is probably the best example.
Always like something charming about someone who's so passionate about his contraptions
Mm-hmm.
and learning about that. And he's a curious individual. Anyways, so he has used his sense of innovation and curiosity to start his own successful pest control business that is also humane. And now he has like greenhouse security systems and like laser, like almost like the Verminator from Over the Hedge,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
only humane.
right.
He has like a whole bank teller tube system
Yeah.
in the ground. Um, and honestly, he's done a really good job with it. And really, if he hadn't meddled around with his Frankenstein
Lunar
model,
power.
his lunar power, yeah, he wouldn't be in this mess. But you know, we wouldn't have a movie without it, so that's okay. Well, Jonathan, I think it's time for Muppet of the Week. What do you have for us?
Today's Muppet of the Week is going to be not a super obscure one, but Bunsen Honeydew.
Bunsen
Story
Honeydew?
time.
Okay.
Hear me out.
I'm familiar.
Because he's bald
Mm-hmm.
and also kind of an inventor, scientist, experimenter. I could see him running this kind of same experiment that Wallace does in this movie, but Muppet-fied.
And Jonathan, he also has somewhat of a silent, English
He
speaking
does. It's a beaker.
sidekick.
Yes.
This
I
is
didn't even think
awesome.
about that. You took it one step further.
That's a perfect. Well, now you have to show Beaker too.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Everybody knows Beaker. Oh, I just passed by one of my favorite Muppets. Stay tuned.
Ah, okay.
I don't think Beaker's in the book.
He better be. Sorry.
Oh, man. Go to the index.
Shouldn't he be in the bees?
I went to the B's. Oh, I was
Is his
spelling
first
it
name
wrong.
different?
I thought it was Bee. It's actually Bea.
Oh, Jonathan,
K-E-R.
it's spelled like beaker as the beaker,
Beaker.
scientific
Yeah.
beaker.
Hey, I'm not a scientist, okay? All right, we got it.
Beaker.
This guy.
That's
Here's
Gromit.
Beaker.
He even has Gromit's eyes.
Me.
That's so cool.
But now I got to find Bunsen Honeydew again. There's a lot
Okay.
of bee Muppets. So here's the bio on Dr. Bunsen Honeydew. He is a PhD, just so you know.
Oh.
He conducted his first experiment when he was just 8 years old, and his hair never grew back. His first appearance was on The Muppet Show, Season 1, Episode 8. His favorite invention, edible paper clips. Okay.
I'm not against that.
His greatest theoretical discovery is silly string theory.
String theory. Silly string theory.
But yeah. Let's see what else there is. Before Beaker joined him, Dr. Honeydew tested his own inventions. After a mishap with his patented Muppet Labs exploding clothes, Bunsen hired an assistant.
Exploding clothes? The heck?
But there we go, Muppet of the Week. Bunsen Honeydew.
All right.
PhD.
Moving on. Okay, let's talk cast here. Because the moment I saw Ray Fiennes pop up on the opening credits, I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be a great movie. Honestly, probably his best villain performance of all time.
I would probably say that. I mean, what else could there possibly be?
Not sure.
I mean, same thing with Lady Toddington,
Yeah.
Helena Bonham Carter. Got a
I
little bit
feel
of
like
Voldemort and Bellatrix Lestrange action.
what's crazy about, and feel free to clip this. I feel like Helena Bonham Carter probably has the monopoly on having the majority amount of roles in full-length claymation feature films. Because she was also Tim Burton's wife, right? And so she
Yeah,
was in
for a
all of
while.
those movies.
Yeah, one fact I saw was that she was a voice in the movie Corpse Bride,
Yeah.
which was the same year as this movie, 2005. So it was like 2 stop motion animated films
That's a lot
that
of
she
clay
started.
for makeup.
Yeah.
That was a dumb joke.
Plasticine, as they would call it.
Yeah.
But
But she's probably
who's the
got
other guy?
the majority of voice acting roles in any claymation movie because there's not a lot of claymation going on.
No, not a ton. The actor that played Wallace, his name is Peter Sallis, and he voiced like basically through all the shorts and in the movie. I think he's passed now, so he's been recast for
Oh man,
the new one that's coming out.
that's sad.
So we'll have to see how the voice is. But the guy that's doing it is like he's been kind of doing like the video game voices and
Okay.
kind of doing some doubling and things for him for a long time anyway.
Okay.
So
it's not going to be a current Kermit the Frog situation.
I hope not. Yeah,
Rest
I
in
don't
peace,
remember. Did he
Kermit's
talk in the
voice.
trailer? It
I
was
don't
kind of
remember
just
either.
like a teaser, so
Yeah.
I don't know if he spoke.
I know
Don't
Gromit did
worry.
not speak.
Don't worry. Gromit is going to be completely the same.
There's something to say about a character that is silent.
Yeah.
It's almost like a superpower in communication.
Mhm. Yeah, I think these movies would totally work as like a silent movie. Just
Yeah.
because one, Gromit is like a main character that doesn't speak anyway, so that's a big part of it. But then they're also just so like visual. It's just a visual masterpiece. I don't know what else to say. Like
Yeah.
the way there's such attention to detail and intention in the visuals of the storytelling
Yeah.
that you wouldn't. I feel like you could just listen or like just watch the movie with no sound and it would make sense. You might miss a few jokes, but like it'd still be good.
I think people say that about Wes Anderson films, and I
Mm.
couldn't disagree more. But
I mean,
because
yeah, I think it would be a lot more. It'd be weird, and it would still be enjoyable to watch.
yeah,
But a
but you
lot
couldn't
of what
tell
he
what's going
does,
on story
yeah,
wise.
I think a lot of what he has is kind of like, it's just like witty or like kind of quirky dialogue is kind of part of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the delivery, sometimes like deadpan delivery of some of the characters in his movies that you'd be missing out on that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think so too.
one thing I was gonna say is that this movie made me want to pick up gardening.
Really?
Like, I probably won't. I'm just thinking about it. I probably won't.
You know, I'm
But I
somewhat of a
kinda want
gardener
to.
myself.
You've been growing some greens lately.
Microgreens indoors. It's getting fall, so it's kind of hard. But I do on occasion like to blend my contraptions with my gardening hobbies as well.
Mm. What you got there?
Nothing, just a carrot that's been just handing.
Is it purple? It looked
No?
purple. It was like the light.
Maybe the
It
light
looked
was
like
doing
it was purple on the outside and orange on the inside.
I have my podcast microphone arm,
Man.
and was holding on to a full-on carrot.
Whoa, is this 3D? What's going on here?
Anyways, It's enough joking around.
Man, all the carrots, all the vegetables looked so good in this movie.
I guess we're talking
And they
cinematic
all
eats right now.
I think so. Now I'm understanding the synergy in your t-shirt that you're wearing also.
Yeah. It's my one shirt that has carrots on it. It has an embroidered carrot. It says carrot on the front. I really don't understand the brand name.
But you love it.
It has a weird carrot guy that looks like the Pink Panther. I don't know if you can see that. Anyways, my wife bought this shirt for me on my first date with her. Not even really a first date, but fun times. But yeah, so what kind of gardening would you want to do? Because I'm really into that idea right now. Is that something that happens in your late 20s, early 30s?
I don't know.
I also want to have chickens.
I do agree. I feel like it's something you said to me recently because you're talking about like growing like a garden and like of plants, and you're like, I just don't know if I feel like growing something that I can't eat.
Yeah.
And so like as I was watching this movie, I'm like, man, I just like something that made the fruits and vegetables like look appealing was the crunch. The sound design was so good. Like every time they like would break off like a celery stalk or bite into a carrot, it sounded just like the real thing. It's such a good crunch.
It probably was the real thing.
Yeah, they probably did exactly what you did and just bit right in front of a microphone so that it picked up the sound waves. And then the magic of Hollywood put it into the film reel.
Yeah. Back to my quote you said. Do you think that's one of the most hardest quotes to ever come out of Andrew Jackson's grave garden?
Okay, we need some context for that.
That's one of the craziest things ever said. Walking past Andrew Jackson's gravestone. We went and visited the Hermitage last week, and it was pretty cool. But
we saw his house, saw his garden,
saw his grave.
I bought some tea bags in the gift shop. That was pretty good. Some good tea.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Jonathan, what? I think we're talking about food here. Let's take on. I think it's time for our segment of the day. Cinematic Eats. Bring up the visual right here. Or imagine it if I haven't gotten it done in time.
Yeah.
Cinematic Eats. Anyways, I did research and see what Wallace's favorite type of cheese is, and it is Wensleydale, which I've never heard of in my life. So I took a trip down to Kroger today and got our groceries, and I also decided to find a nice, pleasant slice.
Oh, I love the presentation.
Thank you. It's our butter dish, but I moved it. Of cranberry Wensleydale. I actually didn't have... This is the only Wensleydale cheese they had, and this was kind of expensive, but
it's a nice wedge
next day. Tomorrow.
Okay.
But I'll give it a little taste test.
You got some crackers?
I don't have a cracker, but I have a nice freshly toasted piece of sourdough bread.
Oh.
Yeah. It's kind of my dream to be a Foley artist one day, and I'm pretty sure that this is wax on top. And it's got dried cranberries inside of the cheese. So I'm assuming it's going to be a sweeter cheese.
You don't eat the wax.
I'm sure it's edible, but I'm not going to go for it. All right. Here's to Wallace's number one cinematic eat. It's cheese, Gromit. It's pretty good. I'm gonna bring you some.
So what do you think?
It's really good.
You think it's maybe one of your new favorite cheeses?
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not much of a cranberry guy.
You do be hating on craisins a lot.
Let me rephrase that. I do hate craisins these days. I love cranberries. These are dried. These are basically craisins. It is excellent, though. I will say that. You can just go to Kroger and have the lady slice off the wheel. I was asking her about it. Well, she asked me, and I was like, "Yeah, do you have any Wensleydale?" And I acted like I knew what I was
Wait,
doing.
did you say it in a British accent?
No.
Do you have any Wensleydale?
You have any Wensleydale? Maybe a slight wheel of Stilton.
Hmm.
Stilton.
None in stock, huh? Have some in Tuesday in it.
Wow. That's that.
Wensleydale sticks out to me because I do remember in one of the shorts that I think, which one was it? I think it's the second one, but like Wallace has a love interest, and then like at the end of the episode, she's just like she breaks the news to him that she does not like cheese. She's like, I can't stand the stuff.
That's kind of sad.
And then Wallace goes, not even Wensleydale.
Not even Wensleydale.
uh,
Since we are on the subject of cheese, Jonathan, I'd like to. I think it's about time for a brand new segment. One time of this particular episode segment.
okay.
To cheese or not to cheese? It's a little game I've got. So
Oh.
let's
Okay.
So basically, you haven't studied on your cheese names, and this is probably the cheesiest movie we've ever seen. Or characters that love cheese. We already gone over Wensleydale.
The only runner-up I could think of is Pauly Shore's character in a Goofy movie.
Well, that's
Leaning Tower of Cheese.
Cheese. Yeah, that's like
But that's
spray
cheese,
cheese.
Cheese Whiz,
Yeah, Cheese Whiz.
Yeah.
Cheese Whiz. Okay, well, I've got a little game show for you, so we can cue like the game show music. It's time for to cheese or not to cheese. And Jonathan, you are our first contestant on the show. I'm going to give you a list.
Right.
I'm going to give you a list of cheese names, and I need you to tell me if that is cheese or not cheese.
Okay,
Are
I
you
think
ready
I'm
for
tracking.
this? We'll start with an
Okay.
easy one. Wensleydale. Is that a cheese or is it not a cheese?
That's a cheese. That's a cheese.
That is a cheese.
Final
I just
answer.
ate it just now. Okay. All right. Number 2.
What do I win?
Gruyere.
Gruyere.
Another. Is that a cheese or not a cheese?
Well, my gut is saying not a cheese.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that's such cheese. You've never heard of Gruyere cheese?
No?
Are you serious?
Not till you said it.
That was an easy one. You're gonna do great. Cotswold cheese.
Ooh, that's a place. But they could have cheese.
British cheese flavored with onions and chives. Or could I be lying?
You could be lying. Oh man, I'm not gonna be good at this game. I will say that it isn't a cheese.
It is a cheese. I actually smelled it today. They also had that at Kroger. It didn't smell very good.
Oh. Did you have to ask, like, oh, can I smell that one?
No, I just
Or it was
picked
like
it up.
it was available.
They're all
it was
like-
available for you to pick
Yeah,
up.
yeah. She just takes the wheels back behind the counter to cut, but they have them all wrapped up.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's go with.
1 for 3.
Let's go with Whiskerdale.
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 That's definitely a cheese. No, it's not. Not a cheese.
Not a cheese. That's correct. It's not a cheese. It would be right at home in Wallace's world, but it's made up. So, all
Yeah,
right.
especially if that were-rabbit got into it.
Okay. Roquefort. Roquefort cheese. It's a tangy French blue cheese. Or is it
No, not a cheese.
not a cheese?
Not a cheese.
It's a cheese. I'm sorry.
a tangy blue cheese. Thunderjack wouldn't eat that. Not a cheese.
Thunderjack. He would. He sure would.
No one likes blue cheese as much as I do.
What a... Oh my goodness. All right. Crumblejack.
Crumblejack. I feel like I just keep sticking with not a cheese, and they keep ending up being a cheese. So, not a cheese.
It is not a cheese. That's correct.
Okay.
How about Splinter Snack cheese? Splinter Snack cheese, but one word.
Hey, no, splinters. Who'd want to eat a splinter? That's not a snack.
That's the point. It's kind of not very fun. That's why it's not a popular cheese. Or is it?
Having said that, maybe it is a good snack because it's like you got to have the toothpick to stab the little cheese cube.
Yeah.
A little appetizer, little hors d'oeuvres, as
Els de
say.
Uveris. Horse de Uveris.
I'm gonna say not a cheese.
That is not a cheese. That's correct. That's correct. All right. Taleggio.
That feels like a TV brand, electronics brand, or
I've
something.
seen Taleggio Nights with Ricky Bobby.
It's a cheese.
It is a cheese. It's a strong-smelling Italian cheese. All right, let's do one.
I'm just thinking of. Okay.
We'll do one more. Red Leicester cheese. Spelled Leicester, as in like the soccer club.
Right, yes. Yeah, I'm going to say that it is a cheese.
It is a cheese. That's correct. It's a British cheddar style cheese. These
There
are
we go.
so fun. I want to keep doing this because it's so fun. Okay, one more.
I need to go watch the Rhett and Link cheese wrap after this.
What a throw. Dang, how much
See,
money did
this feels like a GMM game, but really I'm just throwing it back to old school Rhett and Link
Yeah.
cheese wrap.
The cheese wrap. Remember T-shirt
You got
war?
one more?
I do have one more.
Yeah.
Snood smelt.
Ooh.
Not snoods melt. Snood smelt. Snood smelt.
I'm going to say it is a cheese.
It's not a cheese. I got you again. Oh man.
I had a good little streak there at the
Yeah, a
end.
little streak. I think you
But
got
you got
3
me.
right, so.
I think I got 4 right.
Oh. You did get 4 right. Well, that is all we have for to cheese or not to cheese.
What else do you want to talk about on this movie?
I want to compare the characterization of Gromit with another character in a cartoon franchise that also has shorts, if you will, not necessarily a feature film.
Okay.
And I want to compare, honestly, him and Gromit, Wallace and Gromit, to Charlie Brown and Snoopy.
Okay.
Although I would like to say the only comparisons I have with Wallace and Charlie Brown is that they are both bald. And that is it. But the coolness of Snoopy.
Gromit does fly the plane around. Kind of like the Red Baron.
Yeah.
He gets chased by the Red Baron in this movie.
Jonathan, we need to talk about that because, well, first of all, I would like to say that Gromit is cooler than Snoopy in all ways, even his alter ego, Joe Cool. I think
so.
I think I want to do nothing but get Gromit's approval in my life if he was real. Okay, did you catch on that the dogs were literally in a dogfight plane battle?
I did not.
They used to call
think
those
of it that way.
the warplanes
Yeah.
dogfights.
Yeah.
That was just peak cleverness, another layer of stuff. And I also super, super loved the when it broke down on the roof and they had to search for coins. And then the scary dog was like, here. And he pulls out a grandma knitted coin purse. And was like, here you go. Peak comedy. Oh my goodness. I love that. That was my favorite part of the movie, I would say. But just the dog fight. Too funny.
that that whole sequence there at the end, I kept waiting. What I was paying attention to more was like I was waiting for them to set up like a King Kong reference, because like as
Yeah.
soon as I saw like the rabbit take the lady, like carry her up the side of the building, and Gromit gets in the plane, I just felt like, oh, it's gonna be like King Kong on the side of a building swatting at like planes that are trying to shoot him down, which is like a good like classic kind of like movie, like
monster movie, but
reference,
not
I guess.
necessarily a horror movie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That was cool. I liked another, like, I guess a trope of some of those. I don't know if it's Dracula or whatnot, but like, oh, you got to kill a werewolf with like a silver bullet.
Yeah.
And this one, it was like, it's got to be a gold bullet. 24 carat. I laughed so hard at that. I thought that was so funny.
It's too clever for the average human being.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really because I have such a superior sense of humor to like the average male, and so I laughed a lot more probably than other people would. Probably just because I have such a high IQ.
All right, I'm gonna need you to sign out of your Reddit account right now. I do also love that even as the were-rabbit was still on screen, I still didn't compute that was Wallace, which is kind of cool. Well, obviously it's a different person design, but like it was cool, the separation between that character. It really was a mixture of Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Like those are probably the two things I pulled out from it. But I thought what was really funny was that Wallace wouldn't get near rabbit food, like vegetables. Mm-hmm. And he even said that. He's like, it's pretty good food, Gromit, for a rabbit. And then doesn't eat it. And then the only thing he does eat is he devours the town's vegetable supply.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I just loved, I loved the whole town. I loved I was just taken aback again that it being like stop motion.
Yeah.
And we don't have to like harp on that even more, but just so many details of like the contraptions, the car. I liked the sequence when like he like starts pulling behind the bunny like underground and like tunneling underground, and then like I just thought that was kind of funny. They had like the settings on the car of like the D mud and like the D just like shakes it all off.
Almost kind of the contraptions from Twisters too. I liked when they're trying to catch the were-rabbit the first time, and they had like the girl were-rabbit on top of the and they couldn't catch him or anything, and then Gromit was the puppet, and they go through the tunnel, and then as soon as he gets pulled up, you can see the dent in the ceiling, in the roof of the car. Just the great visual gags. I love it.
I liked that because later on in the movie, once I realized that Wallace was the were-rabbit, that scene got funnier to me.
It got funnier because like they're having nothing chasing.
Well, it got funnier, that too, but because of the comments that Wallace kept making, he was like, what red-blooded rabbit wouldn't want a piece of this? You know?
Very cheeky, Gromit. Oh, very cheeky.
It's like he would have totally fallen for it if he was the were-rabbit. And the thing is, he was the were-rabbit.
And he slightly was falling for it. That's so interesting. Oh my goodness, yeah. I guess one of the talking about the community where they're all like ganging up in the church after the first incident, and the cop comes and pulls his hat off, and it's like a suction cup sound, like, and his hat, his head is like the size of the hat.
Yes.
I think it was arson.
A lot.
Someone's arson around.
Someone's been arson around. I had remembered that joke. I felt like I had remembered some of the kind of the edgier jokes in the movie because I think I was in like middle school when I watched
Yeah.
it. So, which there's not a ton, but when Lady Tottenham's like, "Oh, he hasn't noticed my produce in ages," she's like handling the melons. I definitely got
I
Bob
actually
the
didn't
Butler
catch on
vibes
that.
for that one.
Yeah. Thank you. Also, what was really cool is that he really took pride in his business by putting a portrait of every one of their satisfied customers on their wall.
Yes.
And it was interesting because they're all connected to a wire system. Like if they had an incident with their greenhouse security,
Mm-hmm.
they would get their eyes would light up and buzz.
Start like flashing and like an
Yeah.
alarm goes off.
But it worked as an alarm / buzzer, but it also worked as like a push pin that held up the frame. He like cut out their eyes in the picture, but he would put up the eyeballs first and then hang the picture on the eyeball.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I thought that was really good. Oh, it was just interesting that he had to put his client crush as a bigger picture and in a better location.
Yeah. And how quickly he obtained, a portrait of her.
Yeah.
And of all the customers. Where did that come from?
He stole them off of
That's
Facebook.
Yeah, you see the screenshot.
Oh,
with the caption and the comments.
the
all
time and like the battery at 19%.
It's a screenshot from his like Photos app on his iPhone.
Here's a little conspiracy. So in this storyline, obviously Wallace, without being obviously the were-rabbit, spoiler alert, he's the protagonist, but also he's his own antagonist because he's the one that's created these issues. But he sees a problem with all the rabbits in the town, and he has these contraptions in this business that he takes over and makes successful. So he solves that problem, but then he creates another problem. Therefore, in order to come up with a bigger solution, getting more business. I think the government took some notes here.
How are we gonna
Wake up?
Trap this? Wake up, sheeple! Sean the sheeple over here.
Sean the sheeple. Welcome back to the Tinfoil Hat Conspiracy Podcast.
I like how they're in the when they get confronted in the church and stuff. The whole town gangs up on them. It's like, how are you gonna catch the bigger rabbit? It's like, how about a bigger trap? And then they all just like, I think he's onto something there.
That makes sense. I did feel bad for him as a small business owner. I was going to say, it's not really his fault that all their things were broken, but it is a security system, so I guess.
But it was him also.
It also was him.
It was kind of funny. It was like,
he knew
when he makes that discovery. He makes that discovery and he's like, well, on one hand, I know the problem. Now we can just go tell Lady Tottenham. Like, what's the issue?
What a good guy.
Yeah, I like so like one of the themes of the movie is like the Helena Bonham Carter character. She's like, she wants to get rid of the rabbits in a humane way, and that's how they conduct their business.
Yeah.
And so one of the problems that they run into in the movie is they've just started storing all these rabbits and they don't know what to do with them. And so they're like, at the end of the movie, they find the solution of like, they're going to turn her estate into like a bunny sanctuary, I guess. But
that was cool.
That was kind of a growing problem of like storing all these bunnies and not knowing what to do with them and trying to like, we got to do something eventually. And I'm trying to remember, you're probably not the person to ask this question to, but I feel like that was something that was explored in like the Ghostbusters movies because I don't know if it was the first or the second one, but like they trap all these ghosts. all these ghosts, and then like, what do we do with them?
You can't kill a
so like they're
ghost.
just like storing all these ghosts in like these like the boxes, and they didn't know what to do with them.
That may have been in
Honestly,
the
I can't
second
even
one
remember
because
what
I
happened.
don't think I've seen the second one.
I feel like they flush them down into the sewer or something, and it like turns into a big problem in the second one.
Just go.
Then you
That's
get
literally a catch and release.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then we've also got the love interest, the Ray Fiennes character, who's like trying to woo lady. Is it Toddington?
Toddington.
Or Tottingham?
Tottingham is
Lady
a soccer
Toddington.
team.
Right. Tottenham.
Football team. Hotspurs.
And he's just like, yeah, I'll just shoot the thing. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just love all the traps and the contraptions of the
BV 6000. BV 6000. BV. Okay,
BV.
I feel like
Bunny vacuum.
if it's a vacuum chamber, all these bunnies were floating around like there's no gravity.
Yeah, that was like an anti-gravity thing.
Yeah, but I feel like those bunnies would either implode or at the very least suffocate. I don't know. It can't be healthy for the bunnies.
No, definitely not.
The clay version of PETA must have called on after this movie.
Oh, I should have stuck around for the credits. I wonder if they said anything like, no animals were harmed in the production of this film.
Yeah.
Oh man, but there was a joke. I'm trying to remember how it goes, but it was like the what was his Victor Quartermain? Quartermain was his name, right? Ray Fiennes' character. It's near the end when they're at the festival, and he's like, "I've got a hunch that they're going over here." And then there's that one side character that's just like, "Oh, I've just got a hunch," and then like points at his back. That joke got me.
That's like a classic like Aardman style joke though.
That was
very flushed away.
Yeah.
Well, I guess flushed away was after, but that's so good. Okay. Also, how the frick did I get emotional at the end when the silent yet always annoyed Gromit sidekick shed a tear for his annoying owner possibly being dead? That was really sad.
Did it tear you up a little bit?
Not fully, but I was feeling it. I was pulled into the movie there.
Yeah,
at least in my Letterboxd.
Like I was watching that. I was like, I don't remember this. Like what?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he dies.
I mean, that alone gave it at least a 0.5 star in my review.
Mm-hmm.
It just, if a movie can make you feel something without you expecting it to, that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, Jonathan, what? Time for another segment. What's the prop of the week for you? What is this? If you were to take a piece of merchandise from this movie, what would you have?
Okay, I think the golden carrot might be a good one.
Yeah.
Like the trophy. But this movie is hard because like if it's a prop from the movie, does that mean it's a little miniature piece of clay?
Yeah.
It'd just be tiny.
But in the world of it, because if it was, I would have a figure, a claymation figure, a clay figure of Gromit probably in my studio.
Yeah, but that's just like an actor. You can't have an actor.
Yeah, you can't do that in this segment. You have to have the prop. And I kind of want to say, like for me, I want to say the golden carrot, and I also want to say the V6 BV 6000. But it's just
too big.
You can't like recognize either of those two things as Wallace and Gromit. And you can't do foods either.
Yeah.
So I feel like just like a robotic arm or the toaster from the first Grand Day Out. But that's not this movie. That's the other thing.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking like his armchair is kind of iconic because it's
Yeah.
like from the like in the basement where they like to build the spaceship in the original
Yeah.
short, and they go back down there for like the new contraptions and stuff. I feel like the armchair is kind of cool.
Yeah. But maybe we're not looking for an icon. So I feel like if it's a prop, I think what everybody's looking for probably is going to
Could
be
be like the
golden
plane,
carrot. You
the little
keep talking.
prop plane. Could be just a cardboard box that has a sign that says contains nuts.
Let's go with that.
Maybe that'll just be a sticker.
Contains nuts, Gromit. I can't stop saying Gromit after things.
Well, that's how you get into character. It's like that word that is like your linchpin that like that's how you get into it, you know.
Cheese, Gromit.
One thing I was going to say is we talked about food earlier. I meant to bring it up. So was Gromit growing a watermelon?
It looked like a watermelon,
Is that what...
but when it exploded, it looked completely green.
Yeah. I got a screenshot right here, and it's like green goo. And so I was like, what is
but
that?
Also,
is that
it,
what
it
they
was
look
the
like
competition.
While
It
they're
was
growing?
grown. Well, yeah, I think so, partially. But that was a full-grown watermelon, if it was. And he was entering a giant vegetable competition. So
Right.
I'm thinking it was a cucumber, a really giant cucumber.
Yeah. One thing that there was like a sign at the opener of the movie that was like an advertisement for like Veggie Grow, and it was like they kind of talked a little bit about it, how they've like been using this like formula to grow the vegetables and make them extra big and that sort of thing. And so the priest, the vicar, was like, we've
doing a
brought
whole
judgment on
seance.
ourselves. He was like, we brought judgment on ourselves for using the Veggie Grow, basically. Yeah, but I don't know. I was confused by Gromit's watermelon because he was kind of babying that the whole time,
He was
and
like
I was a
patting
little bit
it to
disappointed.
sleep.
Yeah, he had the blanket on and everything. He was like playing music for it.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed because I kept seeing that, and I figured that would come back at the end, and like that was actually a moment that like really like touched me when I was watching it, when he like cut the cord, cut the vine, and he was like, I'm going to use this to stop, I'm making this sacrifice
for the greater good
to stop, for the greater good, to stop the were-rabbit. And then like, but I felt like it was for nothing. Like it just kind of smashed and didn't, it wasn't like the thing that like stopped him. It wasn't like the bait that got him to fall for a trap or something like that. So I was kind of disappointed for
Gromit. Really, though. It is sad.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have been a fair competition anyways, because all the other contestants' big vegetables had already been destroyed by the rabbit. So I feel like he wouldn't have felt right about it anyways.
Yeah.
There's always next year.
There is.
Do you think in the next movie Gromit will still have his gardening phase?
I don't know. I feel like they've got to call back to it somehow.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if they'll like be doing the same job. They kind of feel like they have a different job in everyone.
Yeah. Because this job was pertains to the plot of the movie. So I read somewhere that this is going to have to be like a scary, or like not scary, but like a movie sort of about AI.
Oh, really? The new Wallace?
Yeah. Or maybe they used AI for some of it. I don't know.
All I know is it's the return of like an iconic character, Feathers McGraw.
Yeah, the penguin guy.
Yeah. So that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. It says 2024.
Yeah, so I think it's going to debut on the BBC like on Christmas.
Okay, yeah.
And then it'll be available on Netflix like after the new year in January for everywhere else. So that's the deal they got going.
Gotcha.
All right. I think let's wrap it up here.
Okay.
But you want to talk about Letterboxd scores?
John, I'm going to tell you something. I'm fighting to make this not a 5.
Okay.
I think my guilt is not letting me give it a 5. It's easily a 4.5 out of 5. I kind of want to give it a 5. What are you putting it? I'm going 4-5 for now, unless you could change my
Okay.
mind.
Like I said at the start, like I didn't remember this movie very much. Kind of, I remembered like, oh, it was pretty good. Not as good as like the short, films and stuff, but it was still pretty good.
But as you said,
I had no
this
idea
is a
what it was.
delight.
This was a delight for me to watch. This is a 5 out of 5.
Okay, I'll give it a 5 out of 5 too.
This is my favorite Aardman movie now.
Okay, over Chicken
I felt
Run.
like over Chicken Run, over Flushed Away, Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit. This is the best one. I don't think that's a hot take. I'm just saying, like,
yeah,
I probably wouldn't have put it first before. I would have been like, oh, it's up there with them, but it's like
crazy because it's probably the least popular one. Well, everybody's seen Flushed Away and everyone's seen Chicken Run. So,
yeah, that's the thing. I guess it's just underrated. I don't know, but like everything about the production of this, like the look of it, I was laughing so much. This is a 5 out of 5 for me. I don't know what else to say about it. I can't recommend this movie highly enough.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with.
I feel like this is a safe space now. This is like, I always have guilt when thinking a movie is a 5 out of 5. But like, it just is. It's with emphasis, a delight.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to have the respect of Gromit. I just want to have the approval of him.
Mm-hmm.
So
he would understand whatever you rated it, though.
Yeah.
Don't try and suck up to Gromit.
Okay. All right. Well, closing statements or remarks about this movie? You already kind of gave that out.
Yeah. If you haven't seen this one and you're listening to this episode, go watch it. Go watch the shorts. The short films are on Amazon. The movie's on Netflix. And then the new movie is going to be on Netflix this
okay. And the shorts will probably go on Netflix eventually too. Maybe.
Probably. Yeah.
I think I would love to make this a spoopy month tradition for me. Like, this is like the holiday movie.
I was thinking that too. This is like, this is the right level of like kind of spooky. It's kind of funny. It's kind of cartoon kind of level of Halloween.
And
that's
funny.
what I like.
It's great.
Yeah. And I was like, this needs to be a part of my routine, like each year.
Yeah.
And I've been missing out, not watching this more.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna watch it tomorrow too. So
yeah.
I think we're doing a really good blend of fall October movies leading up to. It's a good like an anamorph spectrum from straight up cozy Fantastic Mr. Fox to cozy yet scary / funny Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, to our next movie, which will just be darker ish, Tim Burton-y, if you will.
I've actually, the next movie, if everything stays according to plan, I've not actually seen all the way through, I don't think.
And it's not the Tim Burton claymation movie you're thinking of right now. It is so underrated, underground, but it's going to be good. And we have our Halloween guest, as we always have, Bryce Bridgman. He does the show art. And we'll have him on next episode. Yeah, so like I said, our show art was done by Bryce Bridgman, and our music was done by Alex Bird.
And if you sign up for our Patreon, we will display a portrait of you in our house with the light up eyes. And if you just ever have any kind of concerns, you just press the little buzzer and it lights up, and we'll have all our patrons on the wall.
That would be cool. We got to be careful about promising stuff for patrons. Because they are
Is there rules
paying.
about that?
I think
Oh
so.
man.
I don't know.
All right, scratch that. Just leave us a 5-star review and we'll do that.
But we
It's
can.
a
We can.
joke. Yeah. If you haven't followed us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, do that. We're on Instagram, Inside Quotes Cast. I can't remember if you said that or not.
I did not.
Oh yeah, and obviously, if you're listening to this, we've referenced it a ton, but we're doing video now, so go to our Inside Quotes YouTube page, check
Subscribe.
it out, let us know. Yeah, and just let us know if you're like watching the videos and stuff. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah,
get some feedback on how you enjoyed the show.
Yeah. Thanks again for listening, everybody, and more importantly, thank you for being a staple. We'll see you next time on Inside Quotes. What do we do now? We're on video.
Freeze frame ending.